Hey, one more college exam and one more college essay to go. Let's go! Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite movies. And today I'm going to do a movie review on a documentary that I've seen last night. Fireball, Visitors from Darker Worlds. So, I realized that I have a lot of movies that I really want to watch that I haven't watched. Mank, Another Round, aka Truc, Wolfwalkers, The Sound of Metal, Small Axe, Lover's Rock, Demon Slayer, of course. But let's talk about this one first. So, as far as documentary goes, I am not an expert nor a connoisseur. When it comes to documentaries, I don't watch that many documentaries. Earlier this year, I have reviewed a documentary released in the same year called Feels Good Man, and it's a very insightful and interesting and fantastically well paced documentary about the origins and the implications and the journey of the meaning of Pepe the Frog. But now we move over to a more slow paced documentary that has a whole different vibe. This time we have a documentary about meteors. Meteors from space. Rocks from space that's falling onto Earth. And it is directed by the one and only, the legendary, the absolute unit German director Werner Herzog. And this, of course, isn't the only documentary that Herzog has made, and the host of this documentary is actually Clive Oppenheimer, a man called Clive Oppenheimer, and Werner Herzog is actually the cameraman at the same time, which is really cool. If I want to direct a documentary, I would probably want to be the camera guy as well, because I know what I want to film with the camera. I know. And wow, this is a really, really good documentary, in my opinion. I wouldn't say it's as tightly paced and as entertaining as Feels Good Man, but this documentary really shows how passionate Werner Herzog is towards the subject of meteorites, its religious implications, the history of meteorites, how these meteorites are formed, what are in these meteorites. Apparently, there are so many things to talk about when it comes to meteorites. Like, again, where did they come from? Did they come from another galaxy? An asteroid belt? Did they fell off the moon and come to Earth? No idea. And what's inside this meteorite? Materials that humans have never seen before? Or maybe humans have seen before, but very rare? We have no idea. There is a lot to discuss when it comes to meteorites, and again, given that it's Werner Herzog, we have a lot of very interesting shots in this documentary that didn't make it boring. Again, a 97-minute long documentary solely about the scientific and religious implications of meteorites can be very boring, but the very great angelic spiritual music and also the very interesting shots here and there really kept this documentary going. And speaking of spiritual music, this movie felt really like a spiritual experience, like a religious experience, because we would see these meteorites, how these meteorites impacted certain regions, like in Mexico, and how it impacted the Day of the Dead and how it became a tradition there, or how in somewhere between Australia and Papua New Guinea there is a archipelago where a meteorite was found, and how they believe this meteorite is somehow tied to, transitioning from life to death, and how death is actually just a way to enter a new life. And in Australia, there are also some Aboriginal people who believe meteorites signify this, signify that. In Alsace, France, they think that meteorite is a message from God, legitimizing the power and the authority of the Habsburg military unit or something. So it's really interesting. It's very thought provoking as well. What's also fantastic about this documentary is that Werner Herzog has a great sense of humor, which I totally did not expect. there's the town name, and usually the narrator. By the way, Werner Herzog narrates the whole thing. There's a town name, and he's like, now in the next journey, we will go to a town in Mexico with an unpronounceable name, and he would just move on to his next point. And there's also one interview where, and that's the only occasion in the entire documentary where he interrupted Clive just to say a joke. Which, I mean, I'm not going to spoil, but again, Werner Herzog, very interesting person. I heard that when he was young, he walked all the way on foot from like southern Germany to France, to Paris or something. Like, yeah, dude is pretty damn interesting. Also, there are a lot of interesting people being interviewed in this documentary as well, like the South Koreans working in the Antarctica, basically trying to find a meteor in the Antarctica. And finding meteorites in the Antarctica is great because it's all ice. So if you see a piece of black rock, it's going to be very obvious. So yeah, and apparently the Koreans, they have a history of trying to find these meteorites. They spent decades after decades trying to find them, and when they found them, they got really emotional, and it's all very thought-provoking. So yeah, cool documentary, I guess. I wouldn't say it's super great, but I still had a good time watching it. I am saying Fireball Visitors from Darker Worlds is a documentary worth watching, and I'm giving it a strong 7 to a light 8 out of 10. So, have you watched Fireball from 1 to 10? How much did you rate it? Like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. I will review The Sound of Metal, Meg, Truck, Wolfwalkers very soon. Also, I originally planned to watch one great movie that is not released in 2020, but maybe I will have to cancel it because I just have too many movie reviews to do. And also, List Week will begin on December 22nd, so have that to look forward to.